Welcome back. Yesterday, Hoosiers around the state made their voices heard in the midterm elections, and this morning we are breaking it all down. Joining us again is political expert Abdul Hakim Shabazz. Abdul, good morning to you.
Good morning, my friend. Always good to be here.
All right, let's go ahead and start with the Indiana race for U.S. Senate seat between Republican Todd Young and Thomas McDermott. Some people thought it would be close. Some polls showed it would be close. It was not. Why do you think?
I think at the end of the day, when it came to the issue between the issue of abortion and voter integrity versus gas prices and inflation, Hoosiers chose gas prices and inflation. At the end of the day, Hoosiers chose their pocketbooks. And Todd Young really focused and hit those pocketbook issues, which what a lot of Republicans did, which is why they did technically so well. Also, I think the fact that Todd Young had the fundraising advantage, that helped too, and also the Republican get out the vote efforts as well.
All right, now to Secretary of State. Basically the same thing with the Republican dominating. What do you think about that one with Diego Morales fairly easily winning?
Very easily winning, but he had the smallest margin between all the statewide candidates and his Democratic opponent. Also, the fact that a lot of those rural Republicans, sort of outside the central Indiana donut area, voted for Diego and voted for a straight ticket. Now, please note, because of those possible voter fraud allegations, Diego may not be in that office for very long, because I know state police are looking at whether or not he may have violated state law by voting in one place but living in another place. So I keep an eye out on that one, because he may not be in that office very long, and Governor Holcomb actually had to pick his replacement.
Okay, it was not a clean sweep. Democrats did win for prosecutor Ryan Mears, basically serving another term. Why do you think voters gave him another shot at this?
Once again, I think the money advantage that Mears had early on, and it took Cindy Carrasco a while to get her name ID out. So that was kind of point number one. Point number two, Marion County is a very Democratic county. It's just that simple. And so Cindy did fine in the sense that she got over 40% of the vote, but still it wasn't enough for her to get ahead.
Let's go ahead and talk national races right now. Still too close to call, believe it or not, the next morning, kind of like the last midterm, with Republicans looking like they're going to take over the House. And the Senate right now tied 48-48, just 4 states left to vote. But this is certainly not the red wave that a lot of people were predicting, including Democrats who thought it wouldn't be this close.
I didn't think necessarily there'd be a red wave. I also didn't think it'd be a red wave or a blue wave. I think there's sort of like there was sort of a red cross current and a blue cross current, so to speak, which is what we saw. Republicans, they had their wave, so to speak, but Democrats in early voting built those firewalls, which is why we're sort of at the same point where we are right now.
Let's go ahead and take a look at 2024. I hate to skip ahead that far.
Already?
But that's the next thing people are talking about. And President Trump, the former president, basically saying he's going to make a big announcement come Tuesday. A lot of people thinking that means he's going to run again. Let's go ahead and listen to a soundbite that he recently said, kind of an indicator that he may, and then we'll get your reaction on the other side.
We're winning big, big, big in the Republican Party for the nomination like nobody's ever seen before. Let's see, there it is, Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%, Mike Pence at 7%. Oh, Mike's doing better than I thought.
Yeah, those were a couple of indicators because like in 2016, one of the key things he would talk about is popularity and the polling. Not sure where that poll came from, but also giving his opponents nicknames. You heard the newest one, Ron DeSanctimonious. But in a situation like this, Ron basically really won big last night. Do you think that's going to allow him to basically stand up to Trump?
I think so, because number one, Florida is a Republican state these days, and Ron DeSantis had to win and had to win big in order to pursue his aspirations for running for the presidency. Now, granted, 2024 is a long way away, and anything can happen between now and then. So there's that point. Number two, Trump is still the figurehead of the Republican Party, so to speak, although not as much of a leader as he was before, because folks are getting sort of tired of him. So he's hoping that the third time will be a charm, but I think probably 3 strikes and you're probably out.
Should be very interesting, as usual. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, thanks for being here and giving us basically your take on things.